With Manchester United having a poor start to the season, it looks like the pressure is already on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Far from having an exceptional tenure apart from finishing in the Champions League, will he be one of the first managers sacked this season? And if so, who is going to replace him? The first up on this list of potential replacements for Solskjaer, there's going to be 5 of them, is Max Allegri. Now, he's a name that's been bounded about with every single top club job ever since he left Juventus, and there's actually a lot of reasoning behind it. He's a winner. He came into Juve, took them to a ridiculous amount of trophies in the time that he was there, and is definitely the proven winner that Manchester United need. With Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I've no doubt he's got some good ideas about the style of play. He's bringing through some youngsters, he's filling some of the players with some confidence, but when you're reaching that higher level of winning trophies, going further in competitions, Solskjaer just looks so out of his depth. So to have someone like Allegri to come in, who's been there, done it, won a hell of a lot of trophies, aside from the Champions League, it's surely going to be a good choice, certainly a better choice than what they've got at the moment. The thing is, with no plans from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the board are unlikely to back him massively in the transfer market, and if he's not going to be there for very long, it doesn't exactly fill the players with confidence either. Allegri needs to come in as a strong character, have a strong direction, the way they're going to play, where they're going to end up, and really make the players believe in the manager and in the club once again. Second on the list, and again, someone who definitely has a style of play but doesn't necessarily have the big trophy-laden career to back it up, and that is Erik ten Hag. Far from actually being an experienced manager in terms of many years at the top of the game, he does have a very good record with Ajax. They have been scintillating not only in what they've won in the Eredivisie, but also in the way that they have played over the last few years. It was impossible to ignore Ten Hag's style of play when Ajax won that run to the semi-finals of the Champions League about 18 months ago. And if he were to come into United, yes, he wouldn't have the same attraction, the same CV, the same winning mentality necessarily that Allegri's got, but he would have a style of play. If not above anything else, Manchester United fans have been crying out for just a direction, for just some evidence that they're going the right way, they're playing a good brand of football. And if they lose, having been beaten fair and square at a game of football by the other team, that's a little bit more acceptable. Not a lot more, but just a little bit more acceptable than being absolutely thrashed by some opposition with absolutely no idea of what they're really doing. They need to look more like a unit rather than just 11 individuals out on the pitch. Number 3 on the list, and I'll admit this is a bit of a long-winded and maybe not going to happen so soon kind of idea, but what about Thomas Tuchel moving to Old Trafford? Yes, he's at PSG at the moment. Yes, of course, they are dominating the French domestic football scene, and he did take them to a Champions League final. But is this PSG project kind of on the downward spiral right now? It looks like Mbappe wants to leave the club. Apparently, he's told them that. Neymar always wants to leave the club. If those two are to leave and it looks like the end of an era, maybe PSG have to build up again with some other players, I'm not so sure Thomas Tuchel's actually going to stick around. He did brilliantly with Dortmund in the Bundesliga. He's done fantastically with PSG, including getting them to that Champions League final where they weren't smashed by Bayern Munich. I think they held their own for large parts of the game. Maybe Tuchel could try his hand in the Premier League. He's kind of a mix between the first 2 options I've mentioned. He does have a good style of football and is a very, very good and highly respected manager like Ten Hag, but doesn't necessarily have the... He does have the CV and the trophies, but it's always easier to kind of swat aside the fact that Liga isn't the most competitive. So he's kind of in between the 2 managers. Personally, I think Liga is a fantastic league. There's some top teams and quality players, but you can't honestly say that it's not been a little bit easier for Tuchel to go ahead and fill his boots with all sorts of domestic trophies. On to the 4th one, and I feel like this could really be killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and it's Ralf Rangnick. Now, very, very sort of confusing chronology of his career, let's say, about what he's actually been doing, because he's been a coach and a director of football in 2 separate roles, sometimes together, sometimes not together, for quite a few years now. He's been heavily involved at Leipzig, having 2 spells as the Leipzig coach, but also whilst being director of football there and a few other of Red Bull's teams, including RB Salzburg. On top of this, he's also coached Schalke and Hoffenheim, but very, very rarely have you ever seen a manager being able to be a director of football as well, like he's been with Red Bull. He was rumoured to be taking over at AC Milan last season, but that didn't quite happen due to talks with him and the board. So maybe United, like I said, could get 2 jobs done at once. Obviously, it's very difficult. I'm not saying he's going to completely and utterly by himself be the director of football at United and the manager as well. I mean, either of those jobs at United are hard enough, never mind doing 2 at once. But He could have a good team, a good management team, a good coaching team behind him. He could have a good team of professionals who know what they're doing as a director of football and kind of be in charge of both of them. Not necessarily on the day-to-day, but definitely overseeing major decisions and having a major impact both on and off the field. This is such a big thing that Manchester United fans in particular have been talking about the last few years. The fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer hasn't been backed, and when he loses the plot, it's not like he can turn to the board and say we need new players, because Ed Woodward and the rest of the board also don't know what they're doing. There's no sort of intermediary between them, a director of football who can understand where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is coming from on the footballing side and who understands where Ed Woodward is coming from on the business side. Personally, although Rangnick does not have the greatest CV when it comes to being a proven manager and winning trophies, this could be a really good fit if he's to work between the two. Who knows, he could even be the manager and then they have a head coach, kind of like they have a general manager in some American sports. You have the coach in place who takes the team, who advises on team selection, and then Rangnick also is able to advise further on where their new potential signings could be. I've managed to talk myself into this one. This is it. Here's the answer. Here's the answer for all you Manchester United fans. And if he's not the answer, then potentially number 5 could be the solution. Mauricio Pochettino. Since leaving Tottenham, he has not had a job offer, certainly one that has suited him down to the ground. And whilst there were so many rumours when he was at Spurs that he could be taking over the Real Madrid job, Zinedine Zidane seems to have, for the second time, a fairly firm hold on that role. So why not Manchester United? Pochettino does talk a lot about being loyal. That's why he wouldn't take the Barca job, because he used to be the Espanyol manager. But when it comes to Manchester United, no one really begrudges him for moving elsewhere. Players and managers move between the Premier League every time. As long as it's not a direct rival like Arsenal or Chelsea, I'm not sure Spurs fans would care too much. The thing is, Pochettino, I say much like the likes of Erik Ten Hag, doesn't have many trophies to his name. In fact, I think he's got 1 as a player, 2 as a player, not many as a manager. But having said that, he definitely has a proven track record in taking a team that maybe is on the fringes of where they want to be and bringing them to that next level. He helped to bring through world-class talents like Dele Alli, Heung-min Son, Harry Kane. Think of the same thing he could do at Manchester United. There's plenty of young, brilliant talent there who could definitely benefit from Pochettino's coaching and his style of football as well. When Spurs were at their peak, challenging for trophies, challenging for titles a few years ago, they were playing some sensational football. So much so that they went the whole of last season at White Hart Lane completely unbeaten in the league with 17 wins and 2 draws from their 19 home games. This is the kind of form and the kind of thing that Manchester United would definitely love. Pochettino to come in, put a brilliant brand of style of football on the table and turn Old Trafford into a fortress. Not the kind of place where the likes of Crystal Palace and Tottenham can show up and score 9 goals between them in the first few games of the season. So there you have it, a list of 5 potential new managers if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is to get the sack at Manchester United. Of course, he could turn it around, he could stay. There have been a few close calls where it looks like he's going to get sacked, then he pulls off a great result like that United PSG one a few years ago, and then he stays in the job. But surely things can't continue the way they are. But what do you guys think? Let me know if any of these are realistic options or who you would have replacing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer instead, or maybe you think they should stick with him. Anyway, you let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.